It's not my fault. You can say I was cold and I left you with a broken heart. Just blame it on me. So I know about that, Chris and Michelle. What's good, y'all? Chris and Michelle. I think she put that out before she was canceled in 2016 for playing or getting paid quite a bit of money to sing at the Trump inauguration. But anyway, I still like Chris and Michelle a lot. But I have a topic today that's kind of near and dear to my heart. This is not to say to all of them, but this is really, this particular topic, this report is really, it's close to home for me. Hold on one second. Okay, I want to be rude, chew gum when I'm trying to give a report. All right, so on October 6th, but I saw this report like a couple of days ago, so remind you, this event happened reportedly on October 6th. This is the 12th, so I think the 10th is when I first saw the footage. That means they've had time to kind of edit the video to show you the worst parts. But let me go back. On October 6th, at a Hooters in Plano, Texas. Cochise, what's up? Hey, Rhonda. A Hooters in Plano, Texas, right? North Dallas. Right off of the expressway there. I think it's off of 635 or something like that. But anyway, some young men were selling candy. And they went inside the Hooters to sell candy. And this is according to the news. Just go to the news. Does it say Brawl and Hooters in Plano, Texas? And all the stories will pop up, all right? And a bunch of young guys, 10 to 14 years old, little teenage cats. You know, y'all probably seen these dudes out selling candy, right? So they walked up in the Hooters. I guess started asking the customers, hey, you want to buy some candy? Whatever it said. So the manager, who turns out to be a 27-year-old Hispanic guy, he according to the report on the news, he said, hey, man, y'all can't sell candy in here. Y'all have to go. Then reportedly some adults that were sitting in the car, I guess in the parking lot, came back inside the Hooters and started showing out. And all this, next thing you know, we see a video of a bunch of 10 to 14 and 15-year-olds with their shirts off, man, cleaning the place up. Bloom, 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 blah, blah, blah. Bloom, bloom. Got me so fucked up. Blah, blah, bitch, Fist ball and fist swinging. They beat the little manager guy up. He had a fractured arm. TV8 News referred to him having a fractured arm. Then the Fox 4 News said he had a broken arm, but still broken, fractured, same thing. He's in a sling right now for about 6 to 8 weeks. And there were two young ladies who were there, two Hooter waitresses who were there. They were talking behind this darkness, but I could see the shape of one of the girls. So, okay, that's a black girl there. That must be a Hispanic chick there. You can still kind of see them in the shadow. Like, ooh, oh, and we just felt, and they got the chance to do, you know. They felt that we were afraid, and we couldn't believe this happened here, and we're afraid, looking over our shoulders, hoping this would never happen again, you know, all of that. And so, watched the video, and obviously edited it. They showed all just the rough stuff, and some of it they showed. One time, the first time I saw it, they let the audio play. And the waitresses were like, yeah, y'all get out of here, get out of here. What the fuck what y'all doing? Get out of here. And then the boys didn't care, they kept on swinging. And then one of the boys was turning out and getting ready to leave. And one of the waitresses said, yeah, get your ass out of here, something like that. He turned around and grabbed a little chair or a little table and bam, broke the window. I was like, whoa. So, very angry. A lot of anger. A lot of violence going on. And so it took me back, and I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Just took me back to when I was a kid, 10 years old. I'm living in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to Archie Muhammad, Mosque number 55. Not Mosque, I'm sorry, not Mosque 55. That's Nation of Islam. These weren't Nation of Islam Muslims that I work for. This brother and brother Talib and Shaki and brother Muhammad, brother Archie, brother Muhammad, brother Talib. All these guys were what's called regular, not al-Islam Muslim. They were just Muslims, and they were in the masjid off of 3rd Street in South Memphis. The masjid used to be next to Dave's skating rink. Yeah, now it's a flea market or something there, right? And when my brother's already working, but when I was 10 years old, Archie Muhammad came around and he asked my mom if I could go and sell candy for him. I was 10 and my brother's already there selling candy for him. So I said, yeah, I want to go too. So he would come and round up in our neighborhood. Then he'd pick some boys up out of Evergreen. That's a part of North Memphis. And then he went out to South Memphis off of Crump area and picked up some boys. He just had a van or a SUV type deal, a big old van, Chevrolet, 3-seater, like 10 or 12 boys, 13 and sometimes, and a whole lot, about a whole back seat, a whole back area full of candy. And we would be all over Memphis. He would take us out of town, go to Jackson. We went to Nashville. He would take us everywhere to sell candy. And there was something in the 80s for 11, 12-year-old to have money, or a 12, 13-year-old to be in junior high school with, like 30, 40 bucks he had made the night before. We used to sell caramel nut clusters and coconut squares. And we used to sell them for $1.50 at first. He would give us 30 cents a box. He gave us a speech. And he taught us how to conduct ourselves. Now, look, black kids, black males out of North Memphis and some of the roughest parts of South Memphis. Some project apartments, some hood neighborhoods, and all of that, right? Archie would come and get us. And I wrote about Archie in my book, by the way. I'll let y'all know more about it. Archie's in my book. So Archie had about 7 kids of his own. His wife was really sweet, but looking back, he did pretty well. He would give all us like 30 cents. And we would compete with each other to see who can sell. He would have like 30 cases, sometimes 35 cases. And I swear, all of us, we would just, knock them out. They're simple. Sometimes he had 40 cases of candy. He'd get us like 1 or 2 cases. Each case had like 18 in them. Some of us would get 2 cases, trying to get that money. We taught us how to hustle early. And we went out cutting grass. We were out there hustling those candy bars and boxes of candy, caramel nut clusters and coconut squares. And then he transitioned into the candy bars, like the big quarter-pound Mr. Good bars and Hershey bars, selling those for $2. And we got 40 cents a bar. And we always go into the middle class and upper echelon white neighborhoods, going door to door. We would be in the parking lots of Walmart, Kmart, anywhere. My brother and I, we used to go into apartment buildings. We used to go into business buildings, those high-rise buildings. We used to be everywhere selling candy. If we saw people, we just say, "How you doing?" Right? And our little speech was like this. He gave us a card with a little speech, and he said, and the card, if I can remember it so long ago, but let me try. He said, "How you doing, ma'am? My name is Rico, and I'm a member of the Action Youth Sports Program, something like that. It's an organization trying to keep young black men like myself out of crime and drugs. You really be helping us out, ma'am or sir, if you purchase a box of our candy. It's only $1.50. We really appreciate your support in this. And if you wouldn't like to buy the candy, a small donation towards our cause, we really appreciate it, ma'am or sir." It was something like this. Chopped us, been a long time. Action Youth Program. He created something, gave us all cards to show to the people. Who would take the card. I said, "How you doing, man? My name is Rico, and remember the Action Youth Program. We're a small organization set up to try to keep young youth like me, like myself, out of crime and drugs. And they's like, oh, that's so nice. They would either buy the candy, sometimes they bought 2 or 3, or sometimes they said, I don't want the candy, baby, but here's a donation. And we would go everywhere. And I remember one time we went to Jackson, Tennessee, and the people in front of Walmart was not having it. They saw us out there, man, slanging their candy. Like, look, one of the managers out of Walmart came out there and said, hey, y'all can't sell candy out here, man. We sell candy in here. We're like, all right. So we trying to know. I don't think the news had gotten it to me yet. Next thing I know, they had called the police. And so next thing you know, we were all given a ride to the Jackson, Tennessee jail. And Archie came and picked us up, no tripping. Said, y'all can't sell candy in front of the businesses. And that's how it went. Wherever we went, we were aware that a lot of businesses, you can't sell candy here, but we did it anyway. But it's the way we did it. And I'm going to make my point. My brother and I, and the other young men, we were like kids, teenagers and stuff. I remember my brother and I going now we out at night, 9:30, close to 10, hitting the bars. We walking up at bars and restaurants, selling liquor. We just walk up in there, how you doing? We like to buy some candy? So we're giving our whole speech, how you doing? We like to buy some candy? A lot of people buy it. Some people like, look, hey, what these kids doing in here? And I remember one time we went into a bar. There was a topless bar, titties everywhere. We're like 13, 14. We're in there selling candy and looking up at the stage, wanting to do it. And one of our friends who we knew from the neighborhood who worked there, one of the older ladies who worked there. So, of course, she was a young, fine little 21, 22-year-old then. We were like 14 and shit, 15. But she's like, hey, y'all can't be in here. Y'all better get out of here. And so we just kind of walked out. We go door to door, knocking on the door, saying our speech. There was a professionalism and an expectation of behavior. We're like hood kids, but Archie Muhammad taught us this is how you are to do. And even then they taught us not to walk up on people's cars, because a few times we walk up on some people's cars and they'd be like, oh, because especially when it's dark, we'd go, do. How you doing, man? Just kids. But we learned, don't walk up on their cars. If you see somebody pull up, wait till they get out. And then don't run up to them, say, hey, how are you? He taught us all that early, presentation. And, we're aware that we're little black kids in these white neighborhoods. And I say white neighborhood because we tried to sell candy in a black neighborhood, but they would never buy any candy. So you had to go where they spend the money at. And a lot of black neighborhoods, I'm sure now, they were not buying candy from us for the most part. Now if it was a mixed black, white, and others, those blacks seem to be a little more giving. But it was like a straight black neighborhood, like the hood or whatever. Shit, you lucky if you get out of there with your candy. Come on, somebody. And so, it was a blast. And so when we got to be 15 years old, I know we got to be 15 and 16, we started studying what they did. We saw they went to this place called Wayne's Candy Company, went to the candy company house. I think he would go up there and get the candy while we were in there, but we hadn't caught on like how to put the two and two together. We were like, wait. We walked in there, we were like, oh snap, look at all this candy, all kind of, literally a kid in a candy store, but it's a candy warehouse. In South Memphis, shout out to Wayne's Candy Company out there. They're probably still in business too. But my brother and I, we unofficially, implied, gave our resignation. After a while, we went on our own. So we would go and then after, my brother went, and I went, then a few other boys, they stopped too. And they started like, hey, we can go to the candy house and get our own candy. And so what we did, we started getting our money. We get a 24 box of the candy. And that's during the time, let's say 24 came in a case. And we sell them for $2 a piece. And we probably paid $9.89 for the box, busting them in the head. We get like 2-3 boxes. Man, go out and sell our own candy, man. Pocket full of cash. And that's how we did it. So whenever I see young men, the young black boys out here selling candy, I always buy something from them, because it takes me back to when I was a little kid growing up in the inner city, trying to make some money, mom, single mom, food stamps, welfare for kids. So my brother and I, we started out early. So let's kind of lighten this burden and get our own stuff. And with that money that we got, we started buying our own school clothes. We started paying for our own school trips and stuff like that to kind of lighten the burden up. That's what we did. We didn't sell no drugs. We didn't rob nobody. We didn't do all that other stuff that I just don't give you an excuse for it. You know, people out here, man, robbing and killing, man. Because, you know, mama trying to eat out here. We were trying to eat too. But we did the legal way. One thing my brother and I always say, we never want to do anything in society. You know, as kids out there, number one, came back to the house. Number two, we didn't want to embarrass our mother. And so we just kept that stress off of her. So yeah, and then I was selling candy at school, busting them in the head with potato chips and blow pops. Oh, entrepreneur was born. So, and had my little speech. We already had our speech. We kept that speech. And so we did that. And so whenever I see a young man, 10, 12, 14 years old, 9, 16, selling candy, I always buy some and bought some. If I didn't want it, I would give them how much the candy cost, $4 or $5. So y'all can keep it and you can keep the candy. Cause they used to do that for us. Now when they gave us the $2 tell us to keep the candy, of course, you know, it was a resale, you hear me? That's what we did. And so, you're like, Rico, what does this have to do with the brawl, with the terrible incident that occurred at Hooters? I did tell y'all that struck home with me because I used to sell candy. And I want to pay tribute and shout out to Brother Archie Muhammad of the Masjid there in Memphis, off of 3rd Street. You ever go there? I don't know if he's there now, but I've seen Archie Muhammad, man, since I was a teenager. I'm 53 now, so I wonder. I'd like to see him to say hello and say thank you, because he doesn't know how he really intervened and really saved some little black boys' lives, growing up in, growing up poor. And so, and then with all the elements that was going on, you know, crack was full blown. It was going down. These the 80s, baby. Crack and pistol shooting, robbing, gangs, little thugs. That shit was popping, but he gave us an alternative. And we slung that candy like it was dope. But we did it with particular professionalism. I remember my brother and I, there was this club in Memphis. It's way up on, it's called, I think it's Union Plano's Bank now. It's on the corner of Union and Cleveland. You go all the way up to probably like 30 floors or probably more than that. It looks like a big old flying saucer or a disc on top of the building. There used to be a popping nightclub for grown folks back then. We took the elevator all the way up to that club about 9:30 or something like that on a Friday night. These folks coming out there and say, hey, how y'all doing? My name's Hudson. Would y'all like to ride the can after we do our speech? And they're like, no, it's okay, baby, but they'll give us a little change or something on the way out until security like, hey, what y'all doing, little buddy? Y'all can't be out here. I mean, one of the ladies, I remember her, one of the adult ladies coming out of there. We were like 14, 15. And she's like, hey, baby, told my brother, hey, baby, no, I want no candy, but here, you can have this donation. She kissed him on the cheek, like, y'all go home. What y'all doing out this late? So security showed us the elevator. We politely went on down. Now, y'all heard my story, right? There's people who always told us, hey, y'all can't sell candy here. And we understood. We like, okay. So we didn't give them any back talk. Now, there were people who were rude, and they got their work, a lot of them, who was just too rude. They like, get y'all ass away from here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they got a little something, but they said, hey, y'all can't sell candy here. So y'all have to. We were like, oh, okay. That's what we do. We just move on to the next spot. It was just awesome. You know, it taught us a lot. And by the way, you know, being around Archie Muhammad and the rest of those Muslim brothers, that's why I learned an alternative word for the N word. He said, no, man, you don't say that. You say, you don't say N-word, brother. You say Bilal. He taught us about King Bilal. He said, you say Bilalian, brother. So we started saying, yeah, Bilalian, brother. We stopped saying the N-word. And around that time, 13, 14, that was my first foray into not eating pork in a house that had Thanksgiving ham, ham and chillings with spaghetti and slaw, bacon every morning. Come on, somebody. And I'm talking about I don't eat pork. Man, please. I'm like, what you doing? What you mean? My grandmother wouldn't have it. You hang around them damn Muslims. I ain't talking about you ain't pork. You've been eating all your life. I heard it, man. You know, and I didn't eat either. Yeah, until I went to college, in college, it's a whole nother economic demographic there. So I had them full-alongs, chili, smoked sausages with the chili and cheese. Then when I graduated, it was no more. So when I graduated in really undergrad, I stopped, but graduate school, I ate it a few times, full-on chili cheese. That man was messing them Tiger burgers up at Grambling State. Shout out to Grambling State University in the village and Tiger House and all that cool stuff. Shout out. And so, yeah, so now turkey, now just turkey and chicken, I don't eat beef, pork. However, when I look back at that video, it's like, man, what happened there is really going to kind of ruin it for every young black male that's out trying to hustle candy in these stores because somebody didn't teach them protocol. Now, I could say, they were single mother raised. Well, my brother and I were single mother raised, but it was just something different in the early 80s. And there was something in the air. Maybe it's just my mother herself. She's always a lady of, very dignified, kind of, quiet grace and ladylike. She always just told us stuff. She always just said, I don't care if you was born in a barn. You don't have to look nor act like an animal. And then at my junior high school, Coach Paul Holly at Cypress Junior High School, shout out to Cypress Junior High School, shout out to North Memphis, you dig. He would always tell us, son, act like you belong. Meaning there's no place that's foreign to you. Wherever you go, you act like you own the room. And you walk with a particular, as the French would say, savoir-faire. You walk like you own the place. You carry yourself like you own the place. See, I was always taught this even when they say the hood. So that's why I don't buy all that BS about, these folks grow up in the hood. Because there were a lot of dignified and upright people in the so-called hood. We had the best teachers on the planet in the 80s. Somehow when the 90s started hitting and after 95, all that stuff kind of died. It's not your economics. It's your integrity. And manners are free. Home training is free. And so when I saw the edited footage that they played on the news, and y'all, when you go and check it out, you see what I'm talking about. Yeah, they were acting like a bunch of wild banshees in there. Clown. I was like, damn, why don't these boys have their shirts on? And of course, like the older folks used to ask back in the day, when children are acting a fool, who are their parents? What their mommy? That's what folks used to say when I was a kid. They would always ask, who are your parents? When they see a child in society or in the public acting a fool, they automatically go to, who are their parents? Where's this child's mama? And my brother and I never ever wanted anybody, and my sisters either, none of us never wanted anybody to ask that question about us, ever. So we were very conscientious of that. And we weren't angels per se. We made sure no one ever asked, well, who raised? Who's that? Them children's mama, as they used to say. So when I see these young men out here today, it's very apparent that somebody's falling on the job as it relates to home training, integrity, character building. As old folks would say, raising. Because even if they asked them to leave, I'm just going to go by what they've shown us, but I like to hear the other side of it. There was a way those young men, if they were taught, if they were groomed, if they were raised, if they were instilled in them particular pride and dignity, they would have said, oh, okay, and walked off and maybe got a few of them sold as they walk out and got on out the parking lot. But see, I've got a lot of our young people who not only don't have dads, but they don't have upstanding moms. They don't have dignified and classy mothers. They don't have disciplined and ladylike mothers. And so that's what you have. These types of single moms today don't have time for nothing except for themselves. And so these boys out here probably out here selling candy. Two things. Hell yeah, to get money in their pocket like we did. Maybe buy some food or do whatever. But still, even if you're hungry, dignity, self-respect, and class, they all come free. All someone has to do is teach you, or you can do like I did a lot of times outside of my household. I watched those many adults around me in my inner city and outside of my neighborhood who carried themselves in a particular way, and I modeled after them. Yeah. And so I don't buy all that. You know, the inner city, the hood, is just your geographical location. It's not your DNA. It's not how you were created. But this is in Plano. So my brother's like, no, they ain't come from no hood. They live in Plano. Plano got some, you know, we're fooled by Plano having all the beautiful parts when we get off the expressway. There's a lot of redevelopment that's gone on in Plano in the past 15 years. Make you think that all of it's just beautifully suburban. It's not. Go a little further back. You're gonna see some you're gonna see the difference. Go get off and just go on in there a little deeper. There's some different parts. But still, Plano hood ain't nowhere near a hood like in Pleasant Grove or Old Oak Cliff. So I don't buy that either. Just like the so-called hoods, like in Grand Prairie, Arlington, Frisco, ain't no hoods in no damn McKinney. They probably have lower income housing. The hood is a mindset. So somebody, those adults that went in there fighting, you know, they should have been saying, hey, y'all come out of here. They told y'all can't come in here, so y'all apologize. Apologize to the management and just left. But again, we don't know the full story. So we just have to go by what they presented to us. Because were they adults in their 30s, 40s, or were they some 21-year-old adults or 19-year-old adults? Because they'll call, you know, black males adults in a heartbeat. So we have to see who it was out there in that car that walked into the restaurant and I guess supposedly whipped up the dust. But still, it was unfortunate that happened, and the video doesn't look that great. But still, they don't need to be locked away in cages. They don't need the book thrown at them. You know, they deserve all of the resources and stuff that's afforded to any other group that act a fool. You know, we tend to go really hard in the paint when you see black males clowning. Because the stereotype is, you know, they're the ones who clown and not approving their behavior at all. So I'm going to pose this question to the black community. You can get mad at me again. I don't care. You know, recently, you know, it's a lot of foolishness that's going on in my hometown in Memphis. You know, the crime and young black males, you know, robbing folks at the gas station, breaking into liquor stores. I'm saying it because, you know, the media only shows them doing their crime. So you know how the media does. One-sided as shit. But it's still, nonetheless, they're still committing the crime. So if you don't do the crime, it wouldn't be nothing for the media to show, correct? Okay. That's right. So, you know, most recently in my hometown of Memphis, there was a young black male going around the city shooting up the joint. And everybody was just, yeah, I think 2 or 3 people, you know, died in the process, which is horrific. If you watch the video, you'll see that he's obviously possessed by some drug or something, and why he's rapping these lyrics. So, and I listen to all the people call him an animal. He needs to be under jail. That son of a he was called everything, but except for the child of God, if there was such a thing. So my question to the black community, first I reminded black folks, y'all know he came from us, right? So, number one, just like these little black boys that act a damn fool in this Hooters in Plano, y'all know they came from the black community, right? Came from some black folks. So my question is, just like I had from them that pissed off a lot of people and accused me of trying to give him a pass, no. The criminal justice system is going to take care of him, and very well. So that's done. So my assignment is, my question is to the black community, what do we plan to put in place to make sure we don't reproduce or produce another young man like the one in Memphis who did up the shooting, and like these young boys who went into that Hooters and turned it into WWE? What plans do we have in place to make sure we don't produce another young man or woman, young child, young teenager, like these young men I'm talking about? I don't know why a question like that offends. And I mean, people were pissed in Memphis when I posed that question. What mechanisms are we going to put in place to make sure a young man like that is not produced again from our community? And what are we going to do? Dallas, Fort Worth, Plano, black Dallas, black Plano, black whatever. What mechanism is going to be put in place to make sure another crop of young men like that are not produced? I'll look for the answers. Y'all can hit me up, DM me or whatever. Because when they come from us, we need to deal with it. The criminal justice system is going to deal with those who commit the crimes. But y'all don't think we'll have some part in these kind of kids coming out acting a damn fool in society? They come from us. We're always, passing the buck on our kids, particularly boys. What are we going to do? All of those of you with these great organizations, great jobs, very nice affiliations, how can you put your heads together and come up with a program or some funding to address this? We don't need to meet on no damn panels all day long. That gets on my nerves, because now it's just time to put the money where your mouth is. Need some volunteers out there now. Because when I saw in that video, just like I saw that boy shooting up, that 19-year-old young man shooting up Memphis, I saw drug addiction. I saw mental illness such as schizophrenia or undiagnosed bipolar disorder. I saw, of course, emotional neglect, physical neglect. So what are we going to do to attack these issues in our community so we won't be producing these folks that's around here acting a damn fool in society? So anyway, y'all go check out the video, go check out the story. Anybody who's not from Dallas, Fort Worth, or Plano, what have you. Anyway, just go to your Google search and say Brawl, recent Brawl in Plano, Texas. No, Hooters in Plano, Texas. And go check it out. There's no need for me to put the link, because I just told y'all what to do to go find the dadgum story. Quite a few news programs have reported on hell. I first saw it a couple of days ago because TMZ had the video, a few days ago. I said, damn, it's made it all the way to TMZ? Yeah, I guess it happened in what's considered a upper end white echelon city of Plano. And so, if they did live in Plano, how the hell did they get out there? Well, anyway. All right, so when I mentioned Archie earlier, I talk about him a little bit in my book. So do me a favor, check out the book. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. A conversation with the absent biological father who never wanted to be found. Absent biological father who never wanted to be found. It's only $10. It's in a PDF format. So if you cash at me $10, $ Rico the Opinionist. It's on this. It's in the description box in this YouTube channel, as well as on my Facebook page. It's there. That and my PayPal. Send an email address, and I'll email it to you as soon as I get your email address. Let me thank you in advance for your support. But if you don't want to get the book, hey, I still have a Cash App and PayPal. Look, if you cool with me, fool with me. Shout out to Raider J in Memphis. Peace, y'all.